Welcome, everybody, back to another edition of Virtue and Vice, or Vice and Virtue, brand of wrestling, however you like to put it. And we are back this week to do a very special episode about AEW All Out, because guess what? That is this Saturday. Robbie Vice, isn't it weird that we're talking about a pay-per-view event on a Saturday? I feel like we're going to watch a boxing event or an MMA. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it feels like I'm gearing up towards a takeover, but you know what? It's kind of nice. Like, this is going to be a 3-day weekend coming up because of the holiday, but if I don't have to stay up till 11 o'clock on a work night, I'm actually pretty excited for it because I'm a bitter old man these days. So yeah, you know what? Saturday events, thumbs up for me.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen over on the No DQ channel. I mean, I know you and I are staples on the review every week, and then we're always welcome guests on the other shows that we have, like anything there's a t-shirt of, the No DQ panel, the No DQ Great Debate. So if our AEW show doesn't happen over there, guess what? We can always put it on Andre Corbeil's site and right here on the BigVitoBrand.com. So we always have a way out. But let's talk about the card here. And this is going to be tough because I'm a WWE guy, right? So I know people that are in the bigger entertainment world of wrestling. AEW is still getting its traction. So there's a lot of indie people on here. And until we start watching TNT every week, where we can learn these people, it's going to be a rocky start, but we're admitting that. We're not hiding anything. We know who we know, and we don't know who we don't know. So we're going to be honest with you. But as these shows happen each week, we learn who these performers are, we're going to form better and valid opinions about them. So let's start with the card here. We're going to do preview and predictions. And any thoughts? Now, a lot of these will just be quick. I don't know who this is. But Private Party. Private Party's a tag team. This is actually a tag team match here, who consists of Mark Quinn, Mark with a Q. And if I pronounce these names wrong, well, once I hear them on TV every week, as long as JR is saying them right, I'll start pronouncing them right. And Isaiah Cassidy, that's the Private Party. And they're going to go tag team action. I feel like we're doing one of those NXT shows.
Oh my God.
They're going against Angelico and Jack Evans. Okay, I know who Jack Evans is. I do know a couple of these people here, and I do know who Private Party is. Predictions, it's just a tag team match, nothing on the line.
So I don't have a lot of background on these guys, but I know based on what I saw from one of the last TakeOver events, I think Private Party was in that triple tag team event, and they look good.
Takeover. You mean All Out?
Oh my God, yeah, it was All In, All Out, Firefest. I don't know.
They're one of those things at this point, though. I get it.
Right. Yeah. So I would say I would pick Private Party to win this. They look super athletic. They look like a team. They look like champions. They look like wrestlers. I think that's the move based on what I know.
And you pick Private Party, and that's my gut instinct too. So I'm going to go with them because I don't even know if they won their last match. Again, Rob and I are just kind of starting out fresh because of the main draws for AEW. And again, we are interested in learning the product, learning these indie people because they're going to be on a bigger stage. But I'll agree with you. Private Party will win this match. How? I don't know, by their finisher. There's a 21-woman battle royal. I don't know if Britt Baker's healthy. She's always one of those. I know who she is. She's Adam Cole's girlfriend. So I would assume she's going to be in this match if she's healthy. But I got to go. This might just be an easy, quick flyby. I hope she's in this. I got to go Awesome Kong. I would think Awesome Kong's going to be in this. Again, if she's not and we get it wrong, people, chastise us. Again, it's a battle royal. I got to think Awesome Kong would and should be in this and win it. What do you think?
So Britt Baker is the dentist, correct?
Yeah.
They have done a lot to push her. I know Brandy Rose is also in this, which I think would be a colossal train wreck and a convoluted mess if she wins. So I really don't see them going that route, the McMahon route, already this early. Britt Baker, I think, is getting pushed a lot. There's a lot of really talented women in this match. But I think the way she's been pushed, the way she's been booked, I'm going to go with Britt Baker for this.
Okay, and I'm going to stick with Awesome Kong, and I hope she's in it. I mean, if you have Awesome Kong signed and she's not in this, I mean, then she's got to be hurt. Because wouldn't that make sense? You have to have the big person in the Battle Royal, right, to throw the 6 women around her. Like, you know how
That's
they
true,
all try to, so we'll see what happens. Here we go. This is some interest to me because Luchasaurus, I really like that gimmick. And, of course, he's with Jungle Boy, who is he passed away. Who's a 90210 guy? Luke Perry. He's Luke Perry's
Luke
son.
Perry. I can see his face.
Yeah. And Marco Stunt, who's the little guy who broke his leg earlier in the year. Very, very, very tiny indie worker that got but for whatever reason has this following, kind of like a Joey Janela. They make it work because of the stuff that they do. But it's a 6-man tag. You got Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt versus SoCal Uncensored. And obviously, I don't know if you know who Scorpio Sky is, but you got to know who Kazarian and Christopher Daniels are.
Absolutely.
So what do you think on this match?
So I think you have veterans in there, definitely with the Fallen Angel, but I think this Jungle Boy Luchasaurus teaming is going to go over because I think that's going to be a future underdog team. They have great chemistry. While I think Jungle Boy is small and I think he needs to put on some muscle before he really does some main event stuff, I think putting him with Luchasaurus is great because Luchasaurus has a great looking gimmick. He has a really cool looking mask. And I think just together they have a really, really interesting dynamic that I can get behind.
Yeah, and SoCal Uncensored are really good heels. Gosh, I mean, Daniels is really, really good. And I think he could have been in WWE one day, but I guess he was originally supposed to be the higher power. Did you know that?
Really? I did not know that.
He was, and then it turned to be
that would have
Vince
made
McMahon.
sense. That would have been good.
Yeah, and it turned to be Vince McMahon. And of course, I love his Curry Man goofy stuff he did in TNA. Yeah. I've always liked Kazarian. I liked when he was in that tag team too, in TNA. So, but I can't just like pick them because I remember him from TNA, and I do know who Scorpio Sky is. I do like this Luchasaurus gimmick, and I got a funny thing I want to piggyback off this conversation. And the Jungle Boy thing, good for him. Get a big pay-per-view win here. And even though it's a 6-man tag, and he probably gets emotional because I'm sure his dad was proud that he was becoming a professional wrestler. And his dad, think about it, how do you live in a shadow like Luke Perry? Luke Perry, 90210, teen heartthrob, and now he's got an opportunity to at least win wrestling.
We're dating ourselves a little bit with that one, though.
What's that?
We're dating ourselves a little bit with that reference.
But I mean, still though, dude. But they re-brought the series back, right? I mean,
that's true.
So you could date nostalgia. We're living in the era of nostalgia too. So I'm going to go with you. You picked Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt. Yeah, Marco Stunt. Please don't get hurt. Like, work safe.
Oh my God.
Just please, Marco Stunt. And I'm going to say this about another guy. But here's my funny thing. Could you imagine in New Japan? And this is on the BigVitoBrand.com. That's why I can say stuff like this. Imagine New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome having a guy in a big Godzilla suit. Dude, hear me out. Walking down to the ring. One of those 2-part suits, like it makes it look bigger than the guy really is. And somehow they take the ropes down. He walks in the middle of the ring. And dude, as cliche as that is, right? Dude, could you imagine one day if they ever did that? And then when they take the head off to reveal the wrestler, it was Baron Corbin. Could you not say the biggest heel in New Japan history? Would that not be great? Seriously, from an entertainment
That's not what I was expecting. That's not where I thought you were going with that at all. Yeah, that would be.
Baron Corbin's never going over New Japan, but I mean, in a fantasy world, would you pop for that?
I would pop for that, yeah.
Okay, all right, let's move on. I have no idea who these guys are. I think I know. I don't even know if they're guys. There might be females. Ryo.
Females.
Yeah. That's right. Because I watched them work at the other shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Ryo or Ryo. RIHO versus Hikaru Shida. And again, this is like me calling a New Japan show. I mean, like I know Okada and Tanahashi and stuff like that, but come on, these names aren't easy if you don't say them all the time. I even heard Meltzer butcher them before, but I don't know. Any pick on this one? I'm going to flip a coin.
Shida.
Okay.
Shida. And actually, my reason for that is I believe this Riho character, she is only signed to be on there maybe once a month. So I'm going to go based off of what makes sense booking-wise. Then I'll go with Miss Shida.
Well, I'll go with Ryo just because it's different than you, and we can't always be the same, but we got to move on. And again, Rob and I are going to master whoever is on TV weekly, right?
Yeah.
We know who everybody is on WWE, right? All right, here we go. Another tag team match. Best Friends, who is Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, Chucky T, versus the Dark Order. The Dark Order, isn't that like a big group? Is that like two from a big group?
Well, the Dark Order, if you recall in the Indies,
that's from Harry Potter? Help me out here.
No, Dark Order, I believe, was called. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. At No DQ Vice, I believe they were called Super Smash Brothers. I believe, and they had to change their name for obvious reasons because Nintendo will sue anybody. And I actually have them picking the match. I picked them to win because they're the ones if I recall, that they came out and made like the human throne for that giant, terrifying guy to sit on.
That's why I thought they were this huge group, but they're really
Yeah.
just a tag team. Okay.
They have like those little followers or whatever. Like they look like putties from the Power Rangers.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. And I like gimmicks like that. I mean,
Sure.
Why not? I'm thinking of Harry Potter. Everybody knows on my Virtue shirts I got Harry Potter font. So yeah, for that very reason, they're gonna beat good old Chucky T and Trent Beretta, who yes we know was formerly in WWE. So here's a match I'm interested in, and coincidentally, Cracker Barrel is sponsoring just this match, which is weird, and it's not one of the main events. But I have something to say about each one of these people.
Okay, let's hear it.
Jimmy Havoc, who I've seen in the Indies, and he's a guy that loves to slash his forehead open.
He definitely does. Okay.
Joey Jelly Janela, who is a guy like me, who's a trained, who not just a manager bump trained, but trained wrestler, who he's built a little better than me. But I mean, dude, he's an indie darling, Joey Janela, who plays a dick asshole type gimmick, versus Darby Allin, who I really like this guy, and I know his girlfriend, or I think it's his girlfriend or his wife, Priscilla Kelly, did the tampon gimmick, dude. And since then, she's tripled her Twitter followers. Okay, that's how the business works, right? That's how the carny business works. This match is going to be the flip-flop, flying, crazy spot match, right? I mean, obviously we got the Young Bucks too later in the card. I think Darby Allin's the next potential Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was like a heartthrob type gimmick for the girls, right? And guys that just could never do what he did or were afraid to do stunts could live vicariously through him. And so I want Darby Allin to win this, and I'm going to pick that he's going to win this because they want to push the right guys. They start pushing the right guys, and I'm telling you, I see Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin. I think he should go over in this match. What do you think?
Look, man, I'm going to agree with you here because I don't see a huge future in Joey Janela, and I don't see Jimmy Havoc coming in to take AEW by storm. I've seen this guy in the Indies. He's not a young guy, and I think the right thing to do is, like you said, push Darby Allin, because if you can put someone in that Jeff Hardy role, if people remember back in the day, Jeff Hardy was not as over as Matt, or I'm sorry, Jeff Hardy was over, Matt was not, and then and it came later on with the broken gimmick that changed a little bit, but this guy he's fearless. He has a great moveset, and I think your assessment. Geez, I think your assessment of his spot on with the Jeff Hardy comparison. So
yeah, and like
I can't go against that.
Darby Allin, push him strong because Virtue and Robbie Vice said so.
That's right.
Cody Rhodes, damn it, versus Ty Dillinger, which is what most people know him by, casuals. But the diehard marks know him as Sean Spears. Right? The whole chair shot created this match. So, I get it. He wanted to be somebody in WWE. Obviously, they didn't see anything in him. Perfect 10 couldn't really get over. So this is one of those. I like seeing Cody in matches where it's not for titles. It's more personal feuds, like what he did with Dustin, and then they wrestled in the tag team. Sean comes out and hits him with the chair. And so, to me, this is one of those, like, grudge battles, right? And this is what wrestling needs. And I hope we get wrestling in this. I hope, and sure, the marks might chant boring at times, or maybe they have too much respect for Cody. God, I think Sean Spears is going to win this. I don't know why. I like Cody a lot, but I'm picking him. What do you think?
You have Tully Blanchard. Sean Spears is going to win. I wanted to say that I think Arn Anderson
officially or no.
But I would like to see Arn Anderson come out with that Four Horsemen roots and just take out Cody Rhodes. But if I recall, he's still technically under some sort of package from WWE for retirement or otherwise, to where if he appears on TV, he will not get his severance or something to that effect. Wow. So I don't know if we'll see Arn Anderson on television, but I feel like they're trying to make Sean Spears into something. He has a lot more to lose in this than Cody Rhodes does, because Cody he runs the company, right? I mean, he is the top guy. So I say Sean Spears has to go over. I expect Tully Blanchard fully to be involved in this. Maybe you could even have a surprise.
What about Bret Hart? He brought the title out one time and showed it. Could they bring Bret Hart out in a spot like this? He was on AEW television already.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see someone else with a Four Horsemen style background come in and attack Cody, just because the Four Horsemen were notoriously, for our older viewers and people that care about it, the Four Horsemen did not like Dusty Rhodes at all. They were constantly a thorn in this guy's side. So I would love to see someone from the Horsemen and have a throwback to the older fans and to a better era of wrestling, and have the Four Horsemen cause Cody this match.
Please don't be Mongo McMichael.
Anyway, not Mongo, and I don't think we're going to see Luger either. But
all right, before we get to the double main event here, we got the big tag match, and why are we doing AAA World Tag Team titles? Why does AEW not have? I mean, maybe they will. They probably will.
I thought the winner of this match was getting a buy-in to their tag titles on the first episode, or I could be mistaken.
It literally says I'm on the most recent Bleacher Report. It says Lucha Bros, right, which is Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, who hopefully is healthy. He had that injury, versus Young Bucks for the AAA World Tag Team Championship.
I have the same thing up. I see the same thing. So, I could have sworn this was something for their new tag.
Because the Lucha Bros win the titles, I believe. The Lucha Bros are the champs, I believe.
Yeah, they won it back in Mexico. They won it over. Yeah.
I think they're going to retain.
Yeah.
It's tough because Phoenix is hurt. But those
they thought it was a broken leg too. Yeah.
What's that?
They thought it might have been a broken leg, but thank God it was just like a hyperextension or something. But I saw a video. It looked gross.
Most of the match too, so that's why I'm not going to rescind on that. But I mean, it's a AAA tag titles, and to me, it just makes sense to keep them on the Luchas. But
the Young Bucks will be the first AEW tag team champions. I think that's pretty obvious.
So I say retention by the Lucha Brothers here.
I'm going to pull a copycat move and say that you're probably right.
That's right. Well, I mean, dude, it's about picking what we really think. Not, you know, on that one, I was like, whatever. But here we go. Now we know it's not Moxley because of the whole gimmick, and we've talked about that, how he got hurt, and I wasn't a fan how they did it. And you actually liked the fact that they announced it was Pac, and it's not a secret. So that's not the discussion here. Who's going to win? Kenny Omega, Mr. 5+ stars all the time, versus Pac, who missed some AEW events because he didn't want to lose because he was a champion in other federations. That's part of the reason why I think this whole thing is weird. Who's going over here? I'm not excited. I am not excited about this.
I am.
That's gonna
Jericho's not in this match? I could have sworn I thought Jericho was in this match. I could be. You're right. I don't think he is.
Kenny Omega versus Pac.
Yeah. So, or I think the winner is going to face Jericho for the title. Isn't that what it is? There's so many.
Jericho's in the title match versus Hangman Page.
What do we? Oh my God! Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. It's late, man. No, Pac's not going to win because Pac isn't full time with AEW. So I think he's a stand-in. I think they're going to progress whatever storyline was there for probably the TV, and Pac's not going over. That's so funny.
Well, I'm gonna roast you on that in a minute because we don't go back and edit anything. We are getting our feet wet with AEW. And, of course, the biggest name on the show, we get a botch from Robbie Vice. But I agree with you. Kenny Omega is going to win this match because he just cut that promo, which, I thought he could have did better. I gave it 2.5.
It was a double turn. It looked like a double turn.
I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't know.
2.5?
Yeah. Okay. I did not do it. No. It needed virtue. It needed a little – he didn't have that, dick edge to him. He tried, but it just didn't work for me. And I expect a lot. I expect so much – Kenny Omega, I wrote a column about him back in the day before he got super popular. So my expectations for Omega are very high, are Dave Meltzer-ish high. And that's even at the promo level, Rob. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter. He's got to win this match to keep rubbing it into Moxley. I'm the greatest. I beat Pac. I would have beat you too if you were here. So Omega's definitely going to go over.
So, yeah. So in my defense, I have my bullet points over here to the left. Yeah. I must have hit a backspace because in mine it says the main event is basically a fatal four-way. I didn't have my page break in there. So
when did they ever have a fatal four-way? What were you looking at? Was that like a troll?
Because I hit the backspace button, so it says Jericho, Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega versus Pac. So I was really confused when I was reading it.
But when was that ever announced for any show?
It wasn't. I'm just saying I hit backspace on my thing.
Yeah. But anyway, it's main event time. Well, see, those trolls are trolling you. Is that Bleacher Report you're on, by the way?
I copied and pasted it into a Word document. and I highlighted who I thought.
So the main event, and rightfully so, is Chris Jericho. Not challenging because the title's vacant versus Hangman Page, which like why aren't we getting Jericho versus a bigger name for the initial title? But I get it. You know why they're doing this? Because Jericho's got to win. Yes. Jericho's got to win so people know who Hangman Page is. If you put Hangman Page over now, the marks would say, oh, he just became the champion by beating Jericho. No, you're people that not everybody knows. I don't care if just these amount of people know. Everybody knows Jericho, right? I would say most people on the street know who Chris Jericho is. Most. Hangman Page, it's going to be 1 out of 10. Jericho needs to win this title. Cut his promos calling Marks, give me my thank you, because then Hangman can chase him, right? And then maybe down the road, Jericho can put him over. But not only that, Robbie Vice, Jericho should win clean.
I agree.
Clean. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And if anything other, as long as Jericho wins, I'm okay. If he wins clean, I'm ecstatic. If they let Hangman win, get ready for some rants next week. But what do you think?
So I say you put the title on Jericho because he has name recognition for casual fans, even though they claim they don't care about the casual fans. We all know who makes money.
They're saying that to make their diehards happy, but
Correct.
Behind the scenes, come on, what's business 101, Rob?
Yeah, you want the chase, right? Right. So this is my take on this. I would love to see Jericho win clean, like you said. I would love for him to show up on that Tuesday show with a big coronation, saying how he deserves it. Thank no one for it. Just get the crowd working, and then you could have Hangman Page come out, cut a promo, or come out and attack him, build the heat. Not quite get there. Maybe they could have a rematch on that very first episode of whatever they're calling their weekly show, and not quite get it again. And have him build up and do it slow burn, do it the right way. So when he finally does beat Jericho, the title means something. Yep. He is a proven star, and it brings ratings and makes money. Right. If they pull the trigger on this too soon, I just think it falls flat, and it sounds like something that Vince McMahon would do when he's up against the wall and doesn't have a decision, and he just makes a decision in the last 5 minutes.
I agree. Now we got to pick one more match. Go back to that fatal 4-way you said.
Oh God! All right.
We're gonna pick a winner on that. So pretend now this is actually the match, and see, we F up. We admit it. We
That's
said
right.
We're gonna watch AEW religiously weekly when it's on TNT. We're gonna learn it. We have nothing to hide. Aaron Rift, you watch this? We covered our asses. Why? Because we do this to entertain people. So we are actually now going to pick this match. So I am excited about this one. This could be our main event, dude.
This would be a better main event,
What is the so-called fatal 4-way? I'm going to get it. What is this again? Pac,
Omega, Page, and Jericho.
Almost as if Moxley would have got hurt and they would have decided to go this route instead and just put all these guys in a title match. God, that might have been better. That might have been better. And you know what? Say it happens. Say this is the match we're picking for the main event, right? Say Robbie thinking Jericho was in this match was actually this match.
That'd be good.
Jericho wins. It makes Jericho even better of a heel starting as a champion in a new company. Jericho would still win, in my opinion. Clean. I would not change a thing.
I disagree. I say.
Oh.
I disagree.
You really are about. You love this match that much. You got to disagree with me.
I have to make it. I have to make it something now. I would actually say Kenny Omega in this because I say you either have to go with Jericho or Omega because they're the most proven stars. Jericho is obviously a bigger name, but if they want to go for a fresh face, I think that Omega is a better choice than Hangman Page at this time, and I think he is a great performer, and I think he brings that sports entertainment that you love. He cuts a good promo. He would come out, and I think he would be a great first champion. I don't think you could go wrong. You can flip a coin, and I think both of those guys would be fantastic.
So if that match happened, would you piggyback off your decision that promo by Omega really doing a double turn and setting up for a Moxley babyface return later, if they did this match instead of having the two separate main events and Omega went over, he could become that top heel champion to eventually and torment and tease the injured Moxley with for months and months and months?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
There you go. And there you go. See, AEW, if you hired me and Rob, Rob's main event for All Out would have been combining those two matches once Moxley got hurt and making a fatal 4-way for the new AEW championship. And you could have threw a couple other indie guys there to fill in a spot, or you could have made some of your other matches longer.
And it would have made more sense for Pac to show up because he wants to show up, and he's a prize fighter, right? He wants to show up for the big money. He wants to show up for the big prize. It would have been better than him just.
That actually turned out into something good because we got into a booking situation that probably would have made this show more exciting. Because remember how I wanted Kenny Omega versus nobody just so they could troll fans giving them a 3% chance it could be Punk, and then the day it happens, could you imagine Cult of Personality play? And then all of a sudden Pac comes out.
You could still do that with a 4-way. Yeah. You have Pac come out last and have Cult of Personality hit.
And that could be something Punk could give his blessing on because down the road he could come back and
never say never.
Walk up behind Pac down the road, tap him on the shoulder. But God, come on, people, be creative. Don't be creatively bankrupt. Don't just book matches with competitors. Give it some meaning, like Rob suggested, right? Pulling off a fatal 4-way match from Reddit or whatever you did. I like it. Now I want it more. Now I'm going to be disappointed when I watch these 2 separate matches on Saturday night. That's all I got. Do your plugs.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at NoDQVice. Give me a follow. Let me know if you think I'm the smartest guy in the room or the biggest idiot who doesn't know how to read. Those are both perfectly acceptable responses to how my performance went tonight. You can find me right. Right. Okay. Yeah. This time it actually falls on the other side of that. You can find me on the No DQ reviews. You can also find me here on the Big Vito brand. Virtue, there is a couple shows where they can actually see us together. What are those shows?
The No DQ review over on NoDQ.com. Wrestling with Virtue, when we finally do another one, over on Andre Corbeil's page on WrestlingWithWrestling.com. And with AEW Weekend, we might very well do an extra video because I might very well rant. And, of course, right here every week on Vice and Virtue, or Virtue and Vice like I like to think of it, Brand of Wrestling, right here on the BigVitoBrand.com. And we will be back again next week, so don't you worry. My Twitter handle is at NoDQ_Virtue. You can go to NoDQ.com/Virtue with the lowercase v as well. But that is all I have, people. So I hope you enjoyed this. And guess what? If for anything, I hope you found Robbie Vice and I just a little bit entertaining. See you next time.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Just ain't no good. I mean, the macaroni soggy, the peas almost, and the chicken tastes like wood. So you try to play it off like you think you can by saying that you're full. And then your friend says, Mama, he just being polite. He ain't finished. Oh, that's good. And so your heart starts pumping and you think of a lie and you say that you already ate. And your friend says, man, there's plenty of food, so keep piling some more on your plate. But while the sticky food's steaming, your mind starts to dream of the moment it's time to leave. And then you look at your plate and your chicken's slowly rotting into something that looks like cheese. So you say,
Vape Supply Plus in Port Richey, Florida is your place to go. One-stop vape shop, CBD, devices, mods, and more. 400 flavors, 30 brands. Vape Supply Plus, Port Richey, Florida.